For more on Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final, here's our Director of Scouting, Craig Button. Craig, we now have a series. Connor McDavid said after Game 4 they wanted to drag the Panthers back to Alberta, and they have done exactly that. McDavid with 8 points in the last 2 games, most in a 2-game span in the Cup Final. Craig, where does this performance rank in Stanley Cup Final history?
Well, how about if I make this declaration first, Jermaine? Right now, he's right in the conversation fully for the Conn Smythe. That's how valuable he has been. And they don't even have to win another game for him to be seriously in the discussion right there. Nobody's ahead of him, and he's behind nobody. Jermaine, I'm going to take you back to 2013. Connor McDavid played in his first international tournament in Sochi. You're going to see all the highlights from tonight's game. We know how brilliant he was, and he's been outstanding. But in 2013, he entered the international stage as a 16-year-old at the U18 tournament. And what he did was he dragged Canada to a gold medal in Russia, playing against players that were 2 years older than him. And what we're seeing now is a replication of that. Am I surprised? No. Could we have expected this maybe a few years earlier, back in 2022, when they beat the Calgary Flames and then ran up against the Colorado Avalanche, who won the Stanley Cup? Perhaps. But Connor McDavid's a different player now. He's a different person. The maturity that he carries himself with, the brilliance that he has on the ice. There's only 2 players that have ever scored 40 or more points in the playoffs. Their names are Gretzky and Lemieux. McDavid is in rarefied air. And what we're watching him do in this Stanley Cup Final with his team down 3-0, tell you what, it's unprecedented. Because Gretzky and Lemieux didn't have to drag their teams back from 3-0 down to push a team into a great amount of fear. Because that's where the Florida Panthers find themselves right now.
Yeah, McDavid certainly has a flair for the dramatic, and the Oilers and McDavid have flipped this series upside down in the last 2 wins, outscoring the Panthers 13-4. Craig, what has changed that has allowed the Oilers to get back into this series?
Well, we know how good the Florida Panthers forecheck, but it's not just the forecheck, it's the way that they take control of the neutral zone. So the Edmonton Oilers have done a nice job of being able to exit the zone, but they stretch the ice. And now the Florida Panthers have had to go back. There's no better example than the McDavid goal. Bouchard's not trying to make a play. He's just trying to get it behind the Florida defense. That's exactly what he does. Warren Foegele in a foot race wins it. Great play down in the corner. McDavid jumps into the play. That's what they've done the last 2 games, Jermaine. They have stretched the ice. They have been able to get out of their zone, but they haven't allowed the Florida Panthers to regroup and reload through the neutral zone and keep that forecheck going. That is a real recipe for success. And when you find that success and you know that you can win those foot races, it becomes really important, and it's become really instrumental to these 2 wins for the Oilers.
And how about Stuart Skinner, Craig? Okay, he improves to 4-0 this postseason when facing elimination, and 9-0 in the critical games 4-7 of a series. Craig, seems like the bigger the game, the bigger Skinner plays.
How about him between whistles? You know, there's music going on in the building. He's got a little bit of a beat going on. He's kind of moving to the beat, and he's feeling relaxed. We all know there's a lot of pressure on the goaltender. We all know when you in a must-win situation that a goaltender is going to feel that pressure. But Stuart Skinner is doing everything you want to see a goaltender do. Not everything is going to be clean. Sometimes you got to just fight for your position. You got to find a way to do everything you can. You throw form out the window and you just say, I'm going to get to the puck. But that speaks also to his awareness around him, his vision, his understanding of where the puck needs to go or where the puck may be coming from, and then being able to do the things that he's capable of doing to make the saves. And when you can do those types of things, you're going to find a way to keep the puck out of the net. Back in November, Stuart Skinner seemed to be a lightning rod. Oh, you'll never win with Stuart Skinner. You'll never win with Stuart Skinner. They're 2 wins away from winning with Stuart Skinner. I'll take my chances with Stuart Skinner. He's shown me enough.
Yeah, and the Oilers' 13 goals when facing elimination in the Cup Finals, Craig, the most in the NHL modern era. Craig, thanks for this.